Hear him out.
Hi, Joseph. Welcome to Hear 'Em Out. So, first of all, I just want to ask, so how have you been? How have your days been in quarantine?
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I was actually so shocked that I was here because, like, after Isaac Go and like Tyler Teo and like all of those guys, and then now you have Joseph Gregory. It's like,
Yes.
what's going on, guys? What happened? No, I've been
What?
good. I've been good. So far, it's just just making music and stuff like that. And trying to keep myself busy right now. So it's been good, naman.
Do you want to share what you probably like did last? I think that was last week or the other week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How did you do that? I just want everyone to know how you did that and why you did that. Were you procrastinating? Joke lang. Joke
I
lang.
was last week I forgot to submit a homework. No. Um no, the Jacob Collier cover, All I Need. So
Mhm.
I basically featured all of the friends I knew in like the music scene right now that I've produced for and who were available at the same time. And just decided to have a big party sort of in this quarantine by covering one of the most like notoriously ambitious artists of our generation. So it was Jacob. And yeah, so far the reception has been like awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like yeah, I'm still waiting on Jacob to see it, but like, honestly at this point like I'm so happy with like the reception it's gotten everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like 42,000 views, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
already.
I kind of refreshed and it's like it was still going. Like
Wow,
I kind of stopped
amazing. Oh
checking.
my
Like I
God.
muted my phone because I was like, yo, okay, this is a little
Oh,
too much.
so nice.
Yeah. This is cool. This is cool. And I'm also so happy for, the other artists because I heard like all of them were also getting like so much feedback like, wow, you're so good at
Oh, that's
singing. I was like, oh my God,
cool.
Pio or something like that. And I was like, yo, okay, I'm so happy we made this happen.
How did you get this idea of covering the particular song? And like, how were you able to get so many people involved now?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I mean, I've always been a Jacob fan, like notoriously. Like if anyone followed my Instagram, I'd always be retweeting like whatever Jacob did, like always reposting it in my stories or whatever. And I think that his rendition of like Moon River has got to be like one of the biggest artistic milestones of our generation too, because no one just goes to like I really think he invents chords. You know what I mean? Like the guy is crazy. So I've been a huge fan of him for the longest time. And then he released a new album and it had the song All I Need.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I don't know if I was like half asleep or stressed or drunk or whatever. And I just thought I listened to the song. At this point it was like the third or fourth time because I love the song that much. And I was sitting down and I was like, wouldn't it be fun? So it was really
Oh
like
my
that. Like
God.
I didn't have any like big idea. I was just what the heck.
Okay, how was the process of this, of working with so many people and producing and mixing and editing the video? Just you, it was just you actually,
Yeah.
like editing the video, right?
This is the first time I ever edited a video in my
Oh
entire
my
life.
God,
So
really?
yeah, it's
Galing.
that whole thing. Like I don't recommend it to be the first thing that you've ever edited.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so at first I was like I found like the people who I was working with at the time. So I think it was like Robbie. He was the guy who was kind of doing the backing vocals, and then Edda, she was the one who did the second half of the first verse, and then yeah, and like Cell, Steph, all of those people. Because usually, they're always just a message away. And I said, "Yo, you want to do a Jacob thing?" And then all of them, like, of course they'd be G, but like the common reaction that I got was like, "Dude, are you crazy?" So that was pretty awesome. And then it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually, like, I got the Great Dane, and which is basically Brennan's band. Shout out to Brennan. It's like right there. Yeah, so it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then suddenly I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm friends with Pio. Let's try to get Lola. So
Oh my
like
God.
it just snowballed and snowballed until there
Mhm.
was some point where Sophia was involved and like Kiara was involved. And then some people heard about it. And then suddenly, like, Marty's in. Like, he was like, dude, you're doing a Jacob cover? Like, so it was huge. Like,
Oh,
so it just kept snowballing to something like so huge. And then suddenly I had like this Avengers team of artists that like I knew
oo
na
nga eh.
there's no way that I could like screw this up. That's kind of what it inspired me to like, okay, let's get this done.
Oh my god. But that's amazing. Like, so far, this is what your music has led to. So let's go back naman to the start. Let's find out what are your beginnings. So what's the first instrument you learned and what age did you first learn that instrument?
Gosh, so like where Joseph Gregory started and stuff.
Yes. I mean, like, since let's like jump from where you last were, which is the video that you made and produced,
And
the
then
music
like,
that you produced.
yeah,
And now we're going back to the start.
that's kind of hard because I don't ever remember a time where I wasn't like about the
Really?
music thing. Yeah. My mom said I played piano when I was like 2, which is honestly like for someone to play that young, like
Mhm.
I think I'm a pretty bad pianist for someone who played since he was
I
2.
don't think so. I
No,
mean,
no, because I started taking lessons when I was 7.
mhm.
Like that 5-year gap was just me screwing around like the my lola's piano. It was like doing whatever, like figuring out, oh wow, this sounds good with this, or like something like that. And like I'd improvise my own stuff. So I was classically trained like every other Filipino kid.
Oh wow. And you're a producer.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
like every other Filipino kid is pretty much classically trained if they want to go through piano. And honestly, like I didn't enjoy it that much.
Mhm.
Like I'd figure out a song in a day sometimes, but then I'd go the next day with my piano teacher and she'd just be like, "Oh yeah, but the dynamics are wrong. You're playing it wrong. You're playing it too fast." And I was like, I was always
Uh-huh.
getting turned off with the idea of like playing other people's music. And so that kind of like pushed me back compared to like all of the other people who were just like killing it in that scene. So I was
Oh.
like, man, like, I don't know, there must be something more to this. So I started figuring out like other instruments like when I was bored. Like I learned guitar when I was like 11,
Mhm.
drums and bass when I was in band in high school, you know, just picking up different things.
Yeah.
And then I decided, you know what, I need to somehow notate this, you know, like put it on a track and like actually hear my stuff instead of just, you know, have it on my head. So I decided to download like a music notation software,
Uh-huh.
which is what people use for like film scoring and orchestras and stuff. And I ended up not. Instead, I downloaded FL Studio, which is like this beat making software. Because of that mistake, I ended up producing. So like
Oh my gosh.
that's probably one of the best mistakes I've ever made in my life. You know, and instead of like scoring, like now I could just like create like off the top, and like that's pretty cool. Like I'm happy to have
Yeah.
that privilege. And then after that, like yeah, created
Yeah.
the whole Joseph Gregory persona and started producing for other people, started producing for myself. You know, went through genres, released an EP, and now we're here. So yeah, that's my life.
That's so cool. I mean, like, so you technically are like this multi instrumentalist in a way. So,
Yeah.
like, how do you juggle the different mechanics of each instrument? And, like, does you knowing how each instrument works, did that, like, influence heavily on you producing music?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like it's all about like you know listening to those records, like the records that you know, like hearing like Michael Jackson or like Marvin Gaye, you know, stuff like that. Bobby
Mm-hmm.
Womack, Miles Davis, you know, all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how, oh yeah, that's a cool thing he did on the bass. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's a cool thing he did on the drums. I wish I could do that. And then it's cool too.
Oh.
Like if you have a good grasp of like, let's say you play the piano or you play the guitar, you know, for
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have like that one instrument where you kind of know how it works, you kind of know how music works and how harmony works. And you sort of apply that to other places and just knowing, you know, what's cool, knowing what strikes your fancy, like sonically and tonally. Like that's kind of what drove me to like just get better at things. And then that's the only time I'd start saying, like, okay, I need to get better at like this and that. Okay, I need to play like this. I need to have like a better flow or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where it came out. So like in terms of like multi-instrumentalist, like yeah, sure. maybe that's the end of it. But like at the end of the day, I'm just a music lover, and I'm just like infusing everything together and just living music. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Do you remember? Well, I'm sure you remember. What was the first track that you produced and released, and like what genre was it in?
Okay. Well, the first track I produced was not the first track I released. I can tell you that. Like
Unreleased. Oh my gosh.
I have a bunch of like really really bad beats that I made when I was like yeah, like I think I started 14, 15 with like the demo version of
Ooh.
FL, and then I switched to a different software later on. Back then, EDM was huge, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
of course I'd like try to do like all of that stuff, like all of that stuff. And
yeah.
then, like there were a lot of like video tutorials about like, oh, how do you make the melody from like Martin Garrix's Animals? And like I check on that, and like I just keep learning and then I just get like so deep into it. And then I like thought about like, oh, how do I apply this to my stuff? And then the EDM thing kind of died, So that was a big bummer for me. That was like a an existential crisis for me. And I was like about to go to college palang. So like that made things worse. I was like, man, I can't be a DJ anymore. It's like, yeah. But then that was kind of a wake up call for me because I got into EDM because I was a producer. But I didn't get
Mhm.
into EDM because I was a musician. Like I liked so much music back then that
Mm.
I didn't really, really revisit. And then it was sort of an opportunity for me to like revisit it basically. So I started looking at my old records, like all of the hip hop records that I was looking at, all of the pop records that I was looking at, all of the jazz records that I was looking at. And, I realized that, wow, okay, there's something here that I haven't been doing in a while. Like there's so much in my head that I haven't put into music. And that sort of drove me to like explore these new genres and everything. Like to this day, I don't know what the hell I make. Okay. Like personally, you could tell me I'm like a hip hop producer or like a jazz like slash neo soul slash pop like whatever. I can't tell you that. Like honestly, I'm not sure,
Oh
and
my-
that's good. That's
yeah.
good because like if I stick to one thing, that'll be the death of me. Like I really believe that.
Wow. So wait, okay. Before anything else, I didn't get to ask you this. Why did you pick the name Joseph Gregory?
That's an interesting one. Because like I wanted to go with Joseph Marasigan, which is like
Hmm.
my actual name. I wanted to be like completely honest. I didn't want to go with like a moniker or anything like that because like my music evolves. I want a brand that evolves the
Hmm.
way I do. So
Yeah.
that was the thing. So I had this big idea. I was like, I was gonna go with my name, and then someone stole my name on SoundCloud. I'm like, there's another Joseph Marasigan. Yeah. So
Oh
like, okay, there's like three other Joseph Marasigans. So like,
my god. Oh my
fine.
god.
So I just went with my second name. So it's like Joseph Gregory. Ah, fine, whatever. So that's how it started. I was Joseph Gregory on SoundCloud in I think 2015. Started releasing
Mm.
stuff there, and yeah, that's when it all started.
Wow. Okay. So I just want to also ask, right? You had your debut EP, Safe Space.
Yeah, yeah,
You released that last year, right?
yeah. We actually had like a first year anniversary like a month
Oh
ago.
wow!
That
Happy
that was September.
anniversary!
Yeah, Safe Space turns one, guys. Stream on Spotify.
Oh, congrats! Oh my gosh, congrats! So I just want to know how was like the process of creating your first collection of music and then releasing it. Like, what was the direction you were going for creatively in terms of creating that album?
I guess Safe Space was sort of like a culmination of everything I had been through, like thus far. Like all of my influences put into like four tracks and two interludes. Right. So at the time I was producing for like several different artists, like different styles, different everything. And it wasn't cutting it for me. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in
Yeah.
terms of stuff. And then like it wasn't like the best experience, like working with like big labels and stuff like that. So I was feeling unfulfilled because like I was feeling sort of limited and I felt like I could do like way, way more. And so
Mhm.
yeah, that's sort of the fuel that started it. And I basically bought like, I don't know, a mic for like a couple of allowances that like I saved. And then yeah, linked it up to my laptop and I said, okay, this is what I got. I'm gonna capitalize on it.
Oh my god.
I got a couple of friends who believe in it. And I said, look, guys, I'm out of budget here. Once I get this, I'll invite you with gigs. Like, I'll give you all the gigs you can because, like, I can't pay you right now. And so they said yes, naman. So I'm so happy that they did
Mhm.
because, like, after the EP got released, we used to pack 2020. And then the clout that got to, like, all of my co artists, like, it increased tenfold. So I was happy I
Oh,
helped
that's
them as well.
nice.
So that was really, really cool.
That's
I'm
cool.
so happy I made that EP, honestly.
Oh.
Still trying to top it.
Yes. Okay. We will share it like a wild after the show. So, like, are there any interesting stories or trivia about that EP that people don't know about and that you haven't mentioned yet?
Oh, wow. I mean, I have a lot. Like it was like a lot of the songs, like I thought about it in different occasions. Like Plunge was 3 years old before I released it. Um yeah.
Ooh.
Before we actually recorded it. Like me and my co-artist, si Selena Pacana, we wrote it like 3 years ago for a concert, essentially.
Mhm.
And then we scrapped it for a while and then we brought it back because we felt like, oh, okay, it fits the EP more. So that happened. Retribution was cool because like I got the French rapper in C Lil G, who basically like I knew from Ridge, who's this Australia-based Filipino producer slash rapper who came from UP. So I'm glad I met him. And then
Yeah. Yeah, I know him.
I met Bruel through him. So like that was cool. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
Ridge and I have like a good mutual respect for each other. Like what he does and what I do. It's so different, but it's so similar at the same time that we just vibe. So that was cool.
Oh,
Kafka though, that was fun. Uh,
oh, I love cafe. Yeah.
I recorded Young Coco in a sink. Like
What? What do you mean?
yeah, like a dishwasher sink. Because like okay, this is like a really funny story talaga.
I do, what?
So what you're hearing now on the record, I think that's Elion inside the sink.
What?
Because okay, we got kicked out of the studio because like I had already paid for like the entire session and then there was someone else booked. So like we said, okay, we need to find the place. So then Elion found like this empty apartment somewhere along Saviourville.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
it was like, yeah, it had a lot of echo. And I was like, I just wasn't having it. So we were like, okay, look, this is the only place where we can record right now. Like my dorm is abandoned visitors. Your dorm is abandoned visitors. We got to record here. So we ended up putting like jackets and bags inside the sink. And then I put the mic
Oh my
inside.
gosh.
And it sounds good. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the producer hustle for you. Like that's the independent artist
Yeah,
hustle. You
babe.
know, we find ways.
That's amazing. Oh my god. So like, okay, what track do you think is underrated from that EP?
Okay, I have to say the last track, try. Because like not
Mhm.
only is it the last track, like it's got the least views on it, but that one's probably my most like introspective track ever.
Mm,
Although I didn't expect it to get like as much traction as the other songs because it's like 6 minutes long and it's slow and all of these other things. But I don't care. That's for
yeah,
me like that's what music is. Yeah, you have the songs that your people love, and then you have the songs that like people adore, and
yeah.
those are the ones I like take so much time with.
Oh, okay, so it's amazing because I like how you as a producer, you produce for other artists. Like you produce for people like more than yourself. And how does the process of music commissions work?
Ooh. Well, music commissions is a different animal onto itself. I mean, just putting yourself out there, making artists like believe in you and trust you that, hey, like, I know what your sound is. Okay. Like, I can get it. Like, I can help you get it. That's the first thing. And at the end of the day, of course, we have like this sort of dialogue when it comes to like paying your creatives and paying your artists. And you have to fight for yourself, whether or not
Yeah.
like, the other party believes in that or not. And you know, the different levels of success. I've gotten it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think you have.
no, yeah. I'm happy that like there are people who believe that, especially music, in the Philippines, like a lot of people don't consider it a real job. Like it's a thankless job, especially like
Mhm.
other creatives. Like if you're not signed or anything and you're doing moonlighting freelance work for like other people, it's like it's hard, especially if you don't have like
Yeah.
other people to back onto you. So just putting yourself out there and like knowing that there are people who believe that there is some value in doing what we do, and
Mhm.
you have to put like money, like revenue in the cycle, so like people are taken seriously. Like pay your friends, let your friends pay you, you know like this is all we got. That's sort of what drives this, technically. And I'm happy that like some people believe that, and a lot of people believe that. There are people out there who do.
How do you draw the line between client projects and personal projects?
Actually, that's a tough one because I don't know the answer to that. uh
I'm so sorry.
no, 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 it's a valid question because, as I said, like I can't really put a peg on my sound. Like I'm everywhere. My influences are everywhere. It's
Yeah.
it's great to have influences everywhere. But like at the
Mhm.
end of the day, Joseph Gregory can only do a couple of things. You know, in as much as I'd want to squeeze in so much within an EP, it's like okay, like no way in hell am I gonna do like an emo track. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
love that
Oh my
stuff.
god.
Yeah, I love that stuff. But then there's gonna be one other client there who's gonna be like, "Hey, I make emo tracks, and I like your stuff. I'd like to mix it together," and that's great. Like it provides me sort of an outlet for like, okay, I have other influences. There's other types of music that I want to make, and I'm good for it. I could do it, and that's how I approach things. Like I don't care if my style is like way different from yours. I'm probably gonna get your stuff and then provide my own like idea to it. So there's like sort of like an auteur thing. I trust that. And at the end of the day, it's about trusting yourself on what you know and how far you can go and what are the limits of that. I think that's the most important thing.
So, do you have any horror stories naman, like dealing with troublesome clients?
Oh yeah, I have a lot.
Oh my gosh, really?
I've been in this industry for like so long. Okay, like
Ooh.
I have a lot of horror stories. Yeah. Yeah, there were times where I've been like borderline extorted, like someone
Ooh.
invaded, like yeah, like there were times where I've been booed off stage because like I was taking too long to set up, like
What?
stuff like that. Yeah.
Shiz. Oh my god.
For every
Oh my god.
yeah, it's okay. A lot of people go through that. And like, at first when you're an independent artist and no one knows you, no one takes you seriously, or you're not
Yeah.
like a dominating presence in any shape or form. Like you get these things, you get unpaid gigs, and you get yourself out there, and you get people who are going to be like, okay, we'll pay you for exposure. That's the tip of the iceberg. As in,
Oh
that's
my god.
you'd be happy to get unpaid gigs. Like as I said, like music is a thankless job, and the reason why we do these things is because we believe in our craft enough, and there are people who believe in the craft enough. So no matter what I went through with like clients and like working to no avail, and like people dropping me, or vlogs saying that my music is generic or stuff like that, or whatever. At the end of the day, you just keep going. You just keep going. You don't let these things define you. Try to be a decent person. you know Try to be like not socially out of touch as well. It's all these things and more. And then yeah, sure, you're gonna deal with stuff, and once you keep going and going, you're gonna build a name for yourself, whether it's big or not, and overcome these things. Find ways to overcome these things. And that's me right now. I don't know. I don't know what the universe has with me. I just hope it does me well.
That's hella inspiring. Like, really.
Thank you.
What's your advice for aspiring producers and independent artists?
Ooh, wow. Never give up, I guess. I know it sounds cheesy, but like it's not a hobby, you know? Like if you want to really like completely be serious about music and everything, it's a lifestyle, you know?
Mhm.
You have to believe in your music. You have to think about these things. You're essentially like a public persona, whether or not people know you. Always go big or go home. Like, you know, all of those things. There are gonna be like dirty cheats and stuff like that. Like and you know, screwing you over. Yeah. Know yourself, know your worth, I guess. Like never doubt yourself as well. I'm having a hard time with that. Honestly, like all of these
Oh.
things that I'm telling you right now, like I don't even follow it like to the um
But we just gotta believe it and see it through, right, till the end.
yeah, yeah. But that's it, you know? Like music is a vocation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
It really is. It really is. And treat it as such.
yeah. People just have to be ready for that if they're really gonna go to that path, right? They really have to love it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, we always ask this in the show. What's one thing listeners have to hear that isn't said enough?
Oh, wow, that's tough.
We always ask that like to everyone and
Wow.
anyone in each show. That's how we end the show.
Gosh. I guess my answer to that is the opposite. I feel like especially like in the online age right now,
Hmm.
there are a lot of things that shouldn't be said. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So care for people and stuff,
Hmm.
I guess. Like do that, but sometimes the best thing to do is to be silent,
Yeah.
focus on yourself, like just internalize what's going on, try to be a decent person.
Yes.
I think that's more important than like anything anyone could ever say.
That's so true. Yeah.
Just being more introspective. So what's something that's never like that's not said enough? Like shutting up, I guess.
That actually makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, people have to know when to not talk.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Yeah. Be zen.
yeah,
Be zen when you need to, you know?
yeah. I mean, just be chill.
Yeah.
Like there are times we could just have to like keep quiet and be the listeners this time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Since we always ask at the end of the show, what's one thing people have to hear that isn't said enough? For you, naman, what is one song that listeners have to hear that isn't listened to enough?
Oh, as in like my song or like an actual song?
It can be your song or anyone else's song.
Okay, well, I mean, I wish people heard more of me, I guess. Like, if you haven't heard me yet, and then they're like, man, who is this guy in this podcast? What the hell is he saying? Like, yeah, I'm Joseph Gregory. Put a couple of songs out, you know,
Oh
please.
my god, listen to his album. Like it's Safe Space, search it on Spotify. It's amazing. Like I listened to this guy like 3 years ago, and for some reason it did not click. Like, oh, I'm listening to Joseph's song.
Yeah,
Like like for some reason, like Joseph Gregory persona on Spotify is like different from Joseph Marasigan
yeah.
in person. I for some reason like that song was Love and Easy. It was so good, so good.
It's a bit of a secret identity, really. That's what I love about this thing. Like, I'm not like a singer, like by occupation, like primarily, which is great
Uh
because
huh.
I know I'll have to have a public persona later on, but like I'm a producer. Like I'm the guy in
Yeah.
the sidelines, which means like I was saying this before like the conversation started. Like I could go to a buffalo wing stand and eat alone and like
Uh
no one would
huh.
recognize me, but I know people listen to my stuff. It's fine. You know,
Oh,
it's great. I
yeah.
love that. Like that amount of privacy. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. So, before ending the show, I just want to ask, do you want to give any shout out to anyone or like any messages you want to give out? Like, just say out loud.
I guess I'm gonna shout out everyone who made that Jacob Collier video, which is like 20 people. So it's like
Yeah, that was huge.
it was huge. But like Pio Raymond from Lola, the Great Dane, Brennan, Christian, Chris, Wakian, gosh, Robbie, Eda, Steph, Anton, Sel,
So
Jack. Kiara, Sophia, like if you guys are listening, Alex Price, Leah, Young Coco, my boy, where are you, man?
Oh
Dude,
my
20
gosh,
people, Marty,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Cecil, Rido, like thanks for making that possible. Like I'm here in this podcast because of you guys. Keep doing what you're doing, I guess. Like all of these people, just watch that video. You don't have to go to my profile. Check them out. Okay. All of these people are amazing. Like I'd like to give the light to them. And that's why I did it in the first place.
Grabe, grabe.
I have a paper pa with
Oh
like
my
the
god! Do
entire
you want to
list.
read it out?
No, I already did. Don't make me read it a
Oh my
second
god, you
time.
read out all the.
Yeah, I had to. No, I'm so scared like I'd miss someone because it's like so much people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. Like I remember watching, guys. To anyone listening, listen to it. Like I swear, there are so many people. Like you think, oh, okay, it's they're just probably like five, and then more people show up, and then more people show up.
It's the closest thing to a party we can get during this quarantine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was done so well. It was edited so well, produced so well. Congrats on that.
Thanks, Nina.
40,000 views. Come on, let's add some more.
Let's get it to Jacob, I hope.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's. Thank you for being on the show.
No
I
problem.
really enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed as well.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So, this has been your host, Tina, and this is Joseph, and this has been Hear 'em Out.
All right.